Hello, everyone. Just want to check with the logistic. Can you hear me? Maybe I can ask. Jessie. Is it Jessica? Oh, okay, good. Hi, Jessica O. Can you see the slide, Jessica?
Yes, can.
Okay, thank you. So we will commence now. So this is Practicum Admin Briefing. It's nothing to do with teaching, but rather because of COVID-19, usually this is not done by me, the admin briefing. Usually it's done by either Bala or Jen, but because there are so many changes and we are trying to integrate the changes into the graduate diploma program, I'm here to respond to your questions and also to give you a briefing and to also bring in some of the new forms that you might have to use if you are doing inter-cohort counseling. So let me look at the agenda. So I'd like to begin, for those of you who have self-sourced, you might find the first agenda a little bit irrelevant for you. It is called inter-cohort counseling. I also find it very useful. In the event that you don't have enough hours, you can still revert back to inter-cohort counseling. Nias, how much do you give them back when they don't use our practicum sites? $500. Okay. Hi. Even if you use our inter-cohort counseling, we will still reimburse you $500 if we did not get you a site. Us doing the inter-cohort counseling does not mean that you are not entitled to your $500. By the time I wait for your last payment of your school fees, if I'm not able to get you a site by then, I would have to give you $500 by deducting your last school fees. For those who have got self-sourced site, I will certainly reimburse you the $500. So for today, in this 2 hours presentation, we will take a 15 minutes break halfway, probably at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, we'll take a washroom break. And the first thing I like to cover, which is the most important one, is the inter-cohort counseling, followed by post-COVID. What if in January or in November, COVID-19 just disappeared and all the practicum sites are opening? I have to proactively prepare you for post-COVID so that I don't have to panic when you can go back to the practicum site and then I need to call you back to do briefing. I also want to talk to the people who are doing self-source site because there are some policies in place. And the last one would be on ethics and ethical conduct when you're counseling your clients. So with that, I'd like to begin with inter-cohort. So what are my aims and objectives? My first learner outcome is that I hope that the 2 hours that we spend together, you'll be able to understand the importance of practicum and supervision for your GD, and to also apply the basic rules and clinical consideration in your conduct during the face-to-face or online counseling, as well as clinical supervision. So I'm covering these 3 major areas. I think it's Jam. You're going to also manage the peer-to-peer counseling using the structure that's provided by ECTA. So these are the aims and objectives of this evening. I think it's stuck, you know. Yeah, it takes a lot. I think the battery is weak. There, you see, the battery is weak. Right? Yeah. Okay, I think I'll use my mouse, see whether it's better. Okay, I think I use my mouse. Okay, let's summarize what will be involved in your half-year learning. You're supposed to, upon graduation, receive 30 hours of either face-to-face or online counseling. And it should be accompanied by 6 hours of clinical supervision, and your group supervision is 9 hours, and there's also such a thing called case management. For those of you who are very new and you're not from ECTA, case management means any task that you perform for your clients. Take, for example, if you are, for example, your client, for example, I had a client, he was on this medication that I've never heard before. And I have no clue why he's on that medication. And until I Google, I found out that he actually had tinnitus. And I didn't know that stress, and I didn't know that exposure to loud noise would have caused him the tinnitus. And so all that I did for my client by reading up about what is tinnitus and what is the medication he's on and why was he put on that particular vitamin. Now, by doing that, I actually knew a lot more about my client, and you can put that under case management. So these are the hours that you definitely would need in order to fulfill your criteria for graduation. I now want to talk about GD 32 and GD 33. By the way, both cohorts are here today. And I deliberately integrated both cohorts because whatever I say to 32 would also be relevant for 33. We want to call it inter-cohort. So when you do with your classmate in 32, you call it intra. It means you do with inside your own cohort, but the moment you say inter, it means that you're now almost like cross-counseling. And I use the word role play. This is protect ourselves, that in case there's any lawsuits that are being brought up, this inter-cohort counseling is merely a role play to rehearse or to calibrate your clinical competencies. So this presentation that I'm sharing now is only applicable to interns who are not self-sourcing for practicum site. And I'd like to suggest to those who are self-sourcing, in the event that you are stuck, your practicum site is unable to provide you with the number of hours, will you approach Bala and Jen to help you so that you can hop into the inter-cohort counseling role play? In case with a situation like that, things might get more difficult for you and I, and your practicum site might not be able to provide the hours that you want. Please don't be anxious. Bala and Jen can actually try and do something to help you so that you can join the inter-cohort counseling. I like to, because of ethics, there must be no role reversal with each other. May I define role reversal? A situation in which two interns have chosen or have been given a counselor's or client's role, and you do not switch or reverse role. So for example, I've got Jessie O, and I also have, let me see, Joshua. So Joshua is the client, and Jessica is the counselor for round one. So you intend to see each other for 3 sessions. At no point after the 3 sessions will you do a role reversal, whereby now Jessica become the client and then Joshua become the counselor. The reasons are quite it's quite interesting. The reasons, whether it be from research, is that sometimes we have got residue feeling. For example, I actually did not like the way Jessica managed my question. So at the end of it, as a client, I felt a discomfort, and I also felt that Jessica was judgmental. It's just an example. And sometimes when we do role reversal, the residue that is left behind, usually unspoken, is quite covert. And then when you go into a role reversal, this residue negative emotion or issue can roll into the next counseling session that you have. And in psychodynamics, we call it a transference or counter-transference might take place when there's a role reversal. So no role reversal. The inter-cohort counseling matching may be used for only the first 10 hours. I'm quite a hopeful person. I'm hoping that the next 20 hours, you can go back to the practicum site. So I'm going to start with 10 first. So the inter-cohort counseling matching may be used for the first 10 hours of the 30 hours that's required at GD level. May be conducted either through online. So if your peer want it online, either through Zooming or video on the phone, or you can go, you can go WhatsApp and go into the video and actually see each other faces. You can do that also. And you can go face to face. But whenever you come to face, again, although no one is there to monitor you, if you do not have a shield in front of you, you must either, if you don't have the shield, you must minimally put on a face shield, minimally. You can, yeah, that's the one, Jessica. Thank you so much. You're so good in responding. So if you're not wearing a mask, you must at least have a face shield. And but of course, like if you come to my counseling room today, I have a very big shield that that actually separate me and the client. So my client sometimes would not have to use the mask. I suggest to you that if you are doing face to face, can you keep an extra mask? Because when you're crying, your mask can get very wet. Look at my clients that I saw. So please bring an extra mask if you are actually doing, both parties are wearing a mask for face-to-face counseling. It is Bala's and Jen's responsibility to match you with GD32 and GD33. I do not know anything about your background. I do not know. So in the event that Bala actually match you with someone that you had a relationship with, and you really don't like this person because you are from the same university, and you really can't stand this person, you must let Bala know. Or if you're very attracted to the person at a distance, can you also let Bala know to actually assign you to a new counselor? Because we want you to be able to practice your, the purpose of this inter-cohort counseling. So for example, GD32 is already quite competent in TA in psychotherapy. Now, unfortunately, you have to wait for GD33 to be competent. And once GD33 is competent, Jen, what day will that be? That both will be competent.
Hi, okay, so I've already done the pairing for GD33 and GD32. We are just waiting for the PDPA forms to come in from both cohorts so that we can give them the email and name details to the relevant counselor interns and client interns.
That would be your documentation. But may I check with you, at what point Cecilia's class would have completed TA in psychotherapy?
This would be
So I think it is important
October.
that Sorry?
It's in October. They would finish their first modality in October.
Do you know which part of October? Because
First week.
first week. So Jen, in her notice to you that you can start your peer-to-peer, you must make sure that both parties have completed the TA, so that you so for example, you learn about drivers and injunction. Now the other party has not picked up the jargon, so you can actually now, what you learn in class, you can now actually practice it. For example, you can actually analyze the ego states on them, whether they are more nurturing and so on. You can then use this as a practice session. The reason behind Practicum is that we want you to bring classroom learning into a real setting. But because we don't have a real setting, we are going to create one that is very much, in a way, alike a real setting, so that you can practice to integrate your theoretical framework into your real world. So that's the reason. By the way, I think GD33 will start with what? GD33. Is GD33 here? Is GD, may I know when is your first lesson for theory class? Any clue? Are you starting with TA or SFBT?
SFBT, 14th of September, first class.
Okay, so for example, the moment SFBT has completed, even though they don't know SFBT, you both have a theory to practice. So what happened is that GD32, you practice your TA, and then GD33, you practice your SFBT, because in real life, your client need not know the theory. So it doesn't matter that they don't know SFBT. Our clients don't know what is TA. Our client don't know what is SFBT. The reason why I need you to complete your theory is that so that you have a theoretical framework to do your counseling. Any question about this? Any question? I have raised two issues. One would be transference issue. After Jen and Bala had paired you off, and it is because this thing belongs to ECTA, so I'm the one who actually is the brainchild. So I was the brainchild of this inter-cohort, and in order for me to manage the processes, ECTA will be doing the matching for this cohort, so that we have more control over the transference issue, and we have more control over when we should start and so on. So this is the reason why we have the start point date arranged for you. Now this is a very important briefing over now that I'm going to start with. ECTA, together with the academic board and the ECTA board of directors. My board of directors are all clinicians, comprising of medical doctor, 2 psychotherapists, and 1 psychiatrist. And together with the academic board, we had actually streamlined processes and standardized execution of the inter-cohort counseling arrangement. And this is very important in the area of ethical conduct, because we have to have better control over what we are doing. So ECTA has prepared 7 documents. I have asked Jen to actually ask you to bring along your 7 documents to ensure appropriate counseling practice and data protection of peer-to-peer counseling are done ethically, professionally, and exactly. So that's what we are going to do. So I'd like to start with Form A. Everybody, can you take out Form A? So altogether 4 forms and 1 notice and 1 PDPA. I hope you can get ready all the 6. May I start with Form A? So if you look at Form A, I just want to walk through with you Form A. Now in Form A, you have the client intern code. Now I'm Jessica and I am the counselor. And over here, you have got Hui Cheng, who is the client. Now, it is up to me, Jessica, you will decide what number you want to give Hui Cheng. Your favorite number might be 11. You can put that 11. Only you will know that 11 belongs to Hui Cheng. And in the event, if you're so unlucky, you left her case note in the taxi. For example, you go to ECTA, or you met somewhere with her, and you left this in the taxi. Hui Cheng, yeah, so Jessica, I think I will employ you. Are you now under employment, Jessica? I have a CMA position immediately available. I'm serious. I want to engage you. Yeah, but I'm sure I can't afford you. Client intern, so Jessica will put 11. Now, client intern Swinburne ID number. I hope that you will, really, because I've gone through a lot half a year, I've done this half a year, I saw accidents. So please do not fill in the Swinburne ID number until the date. Jessica, when you meet up with Hui Cheng, you're going to return the notes to her, then only do you write down the ID number. And for example, you want Bala to return to Hui Cheng. You really don't have common time with Hui Cheng. You want Bala to return it. You will then put it in an envelope and you put only Hui Cheng ID number. Bala will have a hard time. He will have to go and look for the ID number and realize, there's Hui Cheng. And Bala will leave the envelope as an ID number and return to Hui Cheng and say, this is from your peer counselor. And I think that I've gone through a lot. Very good. I don't know whether you see what Jessica is doing to me or not. Oh my God. Okay. So here you are. Can I move on to the next one? Date. The date Jessica saw you was 6th of September 2020 from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. A duration of counseling session would be 1 hour and 5 minutes. May I ask for your help? Over the minutes, can you put that bracket face-to-face or online or video or whatever it is? Can you put the mode, how it was conducted? Can you write on your own? Under the word minutes, you just put bracket face-to-face. Can I move you on? Did your client intern grant you consent to conduct the online or face-to-face? You just take. Did you obtain a written consent? You just take. Do you assure your client that the session will be conducted in a controlled place? What does it mean? It is Jessica's responsibility when she's doing at home, she's not doing it in the living room where her husband, or if I'm assuming there's another man there or another woman there or another child there or grandma is there or grandpa is there. So you must ensure that in your environment, there are no spectator, or they call it bystander. You owe it to Hui Cheng. So this is what it means. Did you take necessary action to protect the confidentiality of your client? And this is called integrity. You must make sure that you never compromise Hui Cheng. Have you, as the counselor intern, ensure that the case notes are kept in a protected, safe, and secure place? I hope that there is one drawer or one cupboard that you can lock up. But again, I cannot control that. I only can hope that you have got one place that you can keep his or her document safely. And the next one is, did you return the case note to your client at the end? And you put that yes or no. How do you return your case note, in person or through BALA? So that concludes the Form A that we have. I want you to go home. So I've done with Form A. Do you have any question for me? Because I finished with Form A. Is this finished?
Hi, Dr. Leong.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. I had a question. Do we fill out this form every time we have a session, or for multiple sessions, do we just build it into the same form?
Yes, it's coming on. May I answer in a short while? In the last cohort, because I was not diligently careful, people did it over and over again. Actually, you don't have to if you are seeing the same client. All right. So that will be in.
Question.
I'll be coming to Form. May I touch on this in Form B? May I touch on? Is it needy? Needy. Sorry, needy.
Yes.
Can I park your question to Form B? It will be covered. Okay. Next question. Next question.
This is Josephine. I have a question on number 6. Did you return the case notes to your client intern? What if a client intern says no need to return?
And return. Don't keep it. She
So
said no need, you return to
still return, huh?
ECTA.
Return to ECTA, okay.
Yeah, you know why? I tell you a story. Now it's storytelling time. She doesn't want it, but one day she's going to court subpoena for something, and then she needs your case note, and you have already destroyed it. You already destroyed. And do you know why you can't destroy her notes? Because it belongs to her. The paper belongs to you. What you write belongs to her. So I urge you, even though she doesn't want, you return to Bala or Jen. But it is important that you do not keep your notes, because if anything happens, it is very hard for you to go and make a police case that her case notes are missing. So it is very important that you sleep well, that you know the case notes are not with you, and that you cannot leave unfinished business. Because if the case notes are with you, it will be unfinished business. You must give it back to her. And if she doesn't want it, you give it to Jen or Bala. You know what she will do? They will take her case note and they will put into the P file. She has got a P file with us called the private confidential file. I will put it there. And after 7 years, I will be destroying that file. It will be over after 7 years. But before I destroy it, I will then turn it into microchip. You know, I turn it into microchip, small little file, and then I destroy the big file. So my question to you, Josephine, directly, regardless, return the file so that you finish with that role.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So I finish. Now I go to Form B. Everybody, can you turn to Form B? Form B is the standard operation procedure, which I will want you to read yourself. I'm going to now help you to fill up the form. All right. Can you now spend 1 minute reading up your standard operation procedure and your SOP, and then you can ask me question. Please ask me question. I await your question for Form B.
Hi, Dr. Jessica. This is Sufan here.
Yes, super.
So I have a question that's related to the previous form.
Is
the
it
case
Form
notes,
A? Is it
yeah,
Form A?
yeah.
Yeah.
The case notes that we're supposed to return to the client, is it the same one that we submit to ECTA and as in which is the summarized one, or are we supposed to return to them everything that we
It will
wrote?
be the case note that I'm going to share with you on Form C. I haven't reached that yet.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I haven't arrived that yet. Yeah,
Okay,
I
thank
only
you.
want this form only.
Yeah.
I hope that you don't write on any other paper except the format I give you, so that when you return, they are all standardized. All right.
Okay, thanks.
Question, Dr. Jessica.
Form A or B?
From B.
Yes.
Yeah, so if our client was to continue with us from the last time we did in GC 33, I just want to know, do we continue from there or do we restart the whole entire thing again?
How come? You mean this is the one that you saw in your class?
Yes.
But now yours is inter. You have never seen them before.
He moved to the other class.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hi. If you want to continue at GD level, you use your GD form.
Okay.
You use the new form so that your learning curve is the same, because GC and GD, the demands are different. So you use the new form. Thank you. I know where you're coming from.
Actually, the following question is more of do we start, because I already have the history already. The question is, do I have to redo the history again?
No, you can just transport what you know about him into there.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have to redo it because all that is in your old case note. You just do your transfer of notes.
Okay, thank you.
Just like when the doctor referred to me, another doctor, they have all the case note, and then I don't go and ask how many children do you have. The other doctor has already done all the case note taking. I merely transform into my own counseling card, right?
Okay.
Can I move on?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, the most important form will be your Form C. Form C. Okay. Form C is very important. This is the most important one. It can also contain the non-disclosure form. To keep confidentiality or that, the non-disclosure. So you must abide by A and B. Before you accept the inter-cohort counseling, you must abide by A and B. So how do you do it? You have to sign this form. You have to sign Form C, and then and then when you submit to me, you will integrate Form C with Form D. Form D is your case note. You will act the Personal Data Protection Act, the peer-to-peer case note. You will submit C and D together. C and D.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. And
So-
sorry, I think there's a problem for you. If you have not met them, they can't sign, right? Do you notice?
That was my question.
Yeah, so this is what I want you to do. I will be accepting verbal agreement. So you can put there, although the signature not there, you put the date acknowledged by client, what date and what time did they agree on it. And it should be done before the first session. So because these are, in real life, you cannot do it like that. But because this is peer-to-peer, I don't expect you to go and look for the client, but I want you to write down the date and the time that she or he agree to A and B. Is that all right? I will just take on what you write there. You don't have to get the signature. For those of you who are seeing them face-to-face, you can get their signature. Because of the coronavirus, we are doing a lot of flexibility. Have I answered your question?
You have, thank you.
Okay, can I go into Form D now? I'm going to now coach you how to write the case note. So here you are, client intern, you put 11. Do not write the, now because these notes can get lost, please do not write the thing there unless you want Bala to return the notes to you. You put on the envelope, all right? So you write the date. So the counseling session, for example, Jessica will write 7 September, the time and the duration. And is this session 1 or session 2? A session means you saw 1 hour. The next time you saw half an hour, that will be session 2. So if you saw, and if the person saw you out, you're supposed to see 10 hours, but it took more than, it took 8 sessions, so you will increase the session. So because this form, you can actually do it on your own and make it more lines. So it can be 8 sessions because you have 10 hours. Any question about that? Can we talk about history, family history? In your family history, I suggest to you, because you are practicing role play, I suggest to you, do not go too deep. I prefer you not to go too deep in family history. Can I give an example of family history that goes very deep? So for example, if the person say that my father, since I was born, he was in jail. And that's what he offered. And do not go so deep. And then he said that my father is in life imprisonment. And then the person say, because he killed his eldest brother. I hope that you are not put in the case notes. You are not put in your case note, and I'd rather you write a brief statement. Client shared that the father had been in jail since he was born, period. I would like you, because I often say to myself, this is a role play, and every day when I write my case note, I have so much respect for my client, even though he's not there. Because we really just would like to, just want to write that the father was in jail when he was born. Now, you can go in depth in your conversation as a counseling session, but you do not write in depth, because this is just a role play with a peer. Any question?
Dr. Jessica, Chi Chong here.
Yes.
During the briefing, actually, you mentioned something about the sample case notes that you wanted us to follow, right? So how does it fit into this form that you're talking about now?
Because this one is with your peer, while that one is with your real case study.
Right, okay.
They are real cases. Because
Okay.
these are just peers, because you will meet her on graduation.
Sure.
You will meet her, maybe she's in training room 2. That's the problem with the relationship.
I see. The other question that I have
and also this one, and do you know this one can be read? So I just want to protect the person. Just put there, just put it very superficial, because no one is going to grade you.
Okay, understood.
But in a real client, you write in-depth history. That's what we do as counselors. I just want you to so respect your peer so that we protect them from beginning to end. Okay. Whenever I do peer, even when I was in London, we did peer counseling. I always tell myself, one day I might, who knows, I might lose her notes because I'm so careless when I was young. And number 2, who knows who will read the notes? You always fantasize that someone will read the notes, and I don't think the person that you're counseling wants someone to know that, especially when they're going to meet you. So try to give the bare minimum.
Okay.
Can I explain the meaning of presenting problem? Many of us mix up presenting problem with counseling issue. Presenting problem means, for example, the client say that I have no friends, and this is a student age 13, I have no friends, and I cannot get along with my whole class. So the presenting problem would be, so you will write as a statement, it is a client who actually share with you what the presenting problem is. The client, when you look at the word presenting problem, is what the client brings on the table. Is the presenting problem. and it has nothing to do with your assessment. Any question? So in your exam, I will be only giving you the presenting problem, but you will be the one who do other things which we are going to discuss. Are you clear about presenting problem? It's what your client bring to the table. And now moving on. Now we go to counseling issue. Now the counseling issues is based on your theoretical framework. It is based on how you as a counselor see, as you talk to them, you actually get information from the presenting problem to the counseling issue. So I might write in my counseling issue, I might, if I'm using transactional analysis, client does not feel okay about himself in his relationship with his classmates. He does not feel okay. Therefore, my counseling goal would be to help my client to feel okay. Do I make sense? So I'm using my TA knowledge to formulate my counseling issue. So in SFBT, the presenting problem might be, the presenting problem, so have you done SFBT GD 33? GD 33, have you done SFBT?
No.
Not yet, so I won't use that as an example. So counseling issues could also be a student has difficulty, has a difficult relationship with his mother. Student has, Ali has a difficult relationship with his mother. That will be a counseling issue. And therefore your counseling goal is, one of the things is to help the client to understand the causative factors for the poor relationship. That will be your counseling goal. So your counseling goal, if you are writing a very good case study, is always related to your counseling issue. Any question? So because you say that your counseling issue, you wrote, client has a very difficult relationship with his mother. And then your counseling goal would be to facilitate client to examine or to explore the causative factor for the difficult relationship will be one of your counseling goals. And your second counseling goal, if you are using TA, to help client to go into a life position of I'm okay, you're okay with his mother. So you can integrate theory into your counseling goal. So your counseling intervention is how you intervene. How you intervene, intervene means whatever you do to achieve the counseling goal. Can you see it's very developmental? The client presents you a problem. You then use your knowledge to conceptualize the counseling issue, and then you conceptualize the case by writing the counseling goal, and then you talk about the intervention that you would use to achieve your counseling goal. And by the way, what you are doing will prepare you for the GD exam is presented exactly like that. So what counseling modality is, by the way, Jessica, do you have any favorite counseling modality? Oh, Jessica left me. Oh, okay, no more Jessica, so I asked Sui Fern, you seem to be there, Su Fern. Su Fern. Su Fern.
Hi.
Su Fern, can you unmute? Do you have a favorite modality at this juncture of your life?
CBT.
Wow. Do you learn CBT before, Su Fern?
No, I just read up a bit.
Already like? Wow.
I mean, I think it's structured, which I like.
Okay, so she probably have read CBT for the dummies. So what will you put there? You will put there, then Sufan will put there counseling modality that you use. It's not her favorite now. Sufan, not your favorite. What modality, that's why you need to practice with your peer. What modality did you use CBT with for example, with, let me see another person here, Hui Cheng. What counseling modality do you use with Hui Cheng? All right, okay, next one. Follow-up session. What does follow-up means? It means that after that, you will put that, we'll see client in 2 days' time. Yes, there's a follow-up session. We'll see in 2 days' time. Okay, can I go on the next one to...
Question.
Yeah.
On follow-up, you mentioned that to see her, okay, follow-up session, so yes, to see in 2 days' time, right?
Yes.
I noticed
sometimes
that
she doesn't want to see you again, you just put then no.
Okay, but I noticed that at the top of the form, there's a table, so there are already a series of sessions, for example.
Wait, yeah, good observation. In your follow-up, we'll see her in 2 weeks' time to check with her whether she mutilate herself or not. It's for this purpose.
Okay, all right.
Because to check in 2 weeks' time whether she's still binging.
I see. Now, in the case of termination, so this would be a clear no.
Yeah, it will be a clear no.
Thank you.
Here you can write notes under the 7.
All right.
So, hi, if you want to refer, did you refer the client to a dietitian because of anorexia nervosa? So you put there yes. Why do you refer for now? Because you are not a psychiatrist, you will not put that anorexia nervosa. You will put that refer for eating problem. You never use the word disorder because I don't know who will catch on, and your peer will be very angry that you diagnose as a disorder. So you might put that refer to the dietitian for eating problem. We do not use the word disorder unless it is people like in the United States, they are trained as a diagnostician and they sit for exam for the DSM-5 or 4. And because we are counselors, it is not in the scope of our work to this. We will just say she was referred to a dietitian for eating problem, for sleeping problem. We do not put sleeping disorder. It will be the doctor who will put sleeping disorder. Make sense? Okay, number 9, notes on okay. Now, somebody asked me, how many times do I write, I complete this? No, you only do once. Then you write your session 1 notes here. Can you see? You write your session 1 notes here. Then if you saw her 4 times, so you can extend this line. It is in a soft copy. You can drag on the line and write your report. And then after that, you might go, I don't know how many sessions, you might go up to 7 or 8 or even 10. I'll leave it to you. Any question?
Hi, Dr. Jessica. Can I ask, what about the genograms?
Hi. If you want to write your genogram, can I show you where you can write? Family history. You saw family history?
Yep.
So if you are using a FT modality, you will write your, you will write under your, you saw your family history here?
Yep.
Sorry. Hi, you take here? You saw?
Yep.
You put there.
Can I ask, is it an expectation that, you know, that there be a genogram for every case notes?
Hi, I speak for myself. You can choose not to use genogram, but I will be very disappointed if I'm the assessor and looking at, by the way, this is not going to be assessed, but I'm talking about exam. And if I'm your supervisor, I'll be very disappointed if you tell me that your modality is FT and I don't see a genogram. But if you tell me you're using a TA, I don't expect you to have a genogram. I expect you to draw the script matrix of your client. It's different modality, right?
Okay, thank you.
Jessica, I have a question.
Yes.
So which means that the genogram, that means the mortality and the two must be tallied. For example,
no need. Some people do some people do person-centered, still through genogram. I just say that the genogram can be used for any modality, but people are more disappointed if you use FT and you don't use the genogram. You can draw genogram for whatever modality you're using. It's very, very useful.
So in this case, I can still draw a genogram as well as the life position.
You mean under history taking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that.
So it's okay to do extra than do less.
It's okay. Everything both are acceptable. And by the way, don't need to spend so much effort here. Nobody is assessing this except to put into the P file or return to your friend.
Okay. And then
but for your real case study that you submit for grading or for your exam, then to answer your question, Joanne, the more you write that you know you have knowledge, that would be great.
Jessica, don't mind if you can touch on number 5, counseling intervention, which I missed out.
Counseling intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
For example, my counseling goal. So for example, Joanne, I'm just using an example. Joelle has interpersonal conflict with her, let's say, with her uncle. Okay, just an example. I said, okay, Joanne. So Joelle had, let me use Joelle. I can see a Joelle there. Joelle has interpersonal conflict with his uncle, right? So that is the counseling issue. The counseling goal is to explore with Joelle the causative factor that led to the current conflict between himself and his uncle. What would be the intervention? The intervention might be, if I'm using TA, I might say, I will conduct a parent interview to find out why the uncle has such an acrimonious relationship with him, even though he has got no history of being in conflict with the uncle openly. So that would be, I will be conducting a parent interview with him. That will be my intervention if I'm using TA. Okay. Intervention is whatever intervention. So in PCT, for example, if you are using, I feel lousy about I came to see you because I feel lousy about myself and I don't think I'm worth anything. Now that's the presenting problem. The counseling issue might be the client is experiencing a low self-esteem and a low self-worth. So that will be my counseling issue. The counseling goal might be to boost the self-esteem of the client using the whatever modality you want to use. And a counseling intervention will be number 1, to use Jessica Leong self-esteem checklist invented in Singapore to look at the level of self-esteem that he has. That will be by doing a self-esteem checklist, either by Rosenberg or by Jessica Leong, the local tool, or by NIE, Elena Louis. So all these are the famous self-esteem checklist. So one of your intervention might be to use the local Singapore checklist to find out his level of self-worth. So that will be an intervention. And second intervention, if you are doing TA, to help the client to go into self-reparenting and self-nurturing of himself and to teach him self-stroking. All these are intervention. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Leong?
Yes.
This is Joshua.
Hey, sorry, actually I do practicum briefing. I don't mean to coach you on how to write case note. I sorry if some of you, I did not meet your expectation. My job is just to help you to fill up this form, all right? But I'm so happy to answer if you think that I can contribute.
Dr. Leong, this is Joshua.
Yes.
Follow up on the same issue on counseling intervention. So can my understanding is that this counseling intervention is a summary of all the different sessions of the interventions that we did.
It is, you either can put in point form or you can put in a paragraph. to actually say what intervention did you use to achieve your counseling goal.
Oh, okay. So it's like a summary of all the 5
A
sessions.
good clinician must ensure that the intervention are related to the counseling goal.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work independently.
Right. Okay.
There's a very good flow. Then you fill up your data protection. Now, can I talk about return of case notes again? So after you fill up this whole form, case notes are records. Can I define case notes, why they are so important? Case notes are records of information of your client, intern. They are records of interaction, because this is so important. They are records of interaction with him or her to a given assigned case by ECTA. That's what you mean by case notes. Is there an E? Can you get for me? Yeah, all right. Either you return directly to the person face to face, or so for example, both say, hey, I got lecture on Saturday. Do you have? Shall I meet you at the coffee table there? And I pass you your notes. Make sure you put in an envelope. So you either return face to face, or you write the ID number without the name and give it to Bala or Jen. That's how you return the case notes. Hi, now we talk about next of kin. May I turn to the next document, to whom it may concern? You must be wondering, why would I want you to actually have this letter? And I want to tell you a story. I had a cohort, and I also have got people that I supervise who had this problem. And this problem is experienced by doctors who operate from home, and is experienced by counselors and psychotherapists and psychiatrists who operate at home. So I had a case to supervise, and it came this way. What happened was, they have intra-counseling, means you counsel your classmate. So this guy was asked with this girl to counsel each other. And what happened was, he actually locked the door. The guy did not inform his wife why he locked the door, and in the history of the marriage of 2 years, he has never locked his door even when he's changing. So she doesn't understand why she locked the door, and she was very upset, and she tried very hard to put her ears against the door, and she hardly could hear anything. And what happened was, after 1 hour and 20 minutes, the husband came out, and he looked very troubled after the phone call. And the wife kept on asking him, what is happening? Why so mysterious and secretive? He just said, can I don't talk about it? Please, let's have dinner. And the wife was extremely unhappy, you know, extremely unhappy. She started to ruminate negative thought that there is a third party. So when he was taking his shower, he actually took out the handphone and then tried to look at who he last called, and then saw on the WhatsApp, the conversation was done over WhatsApp video, and saw this beautiful, beautiful human being on the photograph. Very, very attractive. And she looked at the time that they had a conversation, it's 1 hour, 20 minutes. She was very upset. And when the husband fell asleep, she called the woman whom he spoke to. And I think that that caused a lot of trauma for the classmate, and it caused a lot of trauma for him too. And these two never wanted the session to end this way. And there was a lot of acrimonious relationship between husband and wife, all because of this role play. So because of that, I don't know how sensitive the people in your house are. I drafted this to whom it may concern. so that you can actually let members of your family know, if you think that this will help you, that you are on an official counseling assignment that's given by the university. It's for your use. Any question? So I've completed. The data protection form is straightforward. Will you actually complete it? This is required by the Act of Data Protection. Just fill it up. It's very straightforward. Just write your name and sign it. And I need you to complete both forms. Okay, so I finished with all the form, and that's the giant part of why I'm here today. Any question before I move on to practicum site post-COVID? So I just want to let you know, if ever post-COVID and things turn to be very healthy again, some of you will go to St. Luke's, some will go to Ling Kwan, some will go to Swami Home, some will go to St. John's, some will go to Cornerstone, others Bethany Nursing Home, some will go to Kennesaw Children and Community Service. We just got this site recently. All right. Can I give you a sense, who are your clients? Your clients are usually elderly and permanent resident of the home. They might have been there even for 20 years. And some of them are without visitors for a very long time. Most are more conversant in an ethnic language, usually Mandarin, Chinese dialect, Malay, or Tamil. And I know for some of you it's very tough, but majority of them will be conversant in these languages. Some will speak very simple, basic English, and a few, there's one that I saw in All Saints Home. He used to be a principal, she used to be a principal. So she would have a very high command of the language. Please inform Practicum department if you can only speak English. Let her know so that we can tell the site, hey, give us only English, people who can speak English very well, like the school principal. Some of them have very good, healthy cognitive faculties. It means that they can look after themselves and they can think independently. Some may have varying degree of cognitive impairment, like those who go to St. John's. There are quite a number who have got dementia or memory losses or cognitive lapses. It means that it's very difficult. And I find that in such places, person-centered counseling helps a lot. And TA helps a lot too. Some will have regular family visitors, while some almost have no visitors except Chinese New Year or Deepavali or Hari Raya. And so they really welcome you. They really look forward to seeing you. All practicum sites are independent of ECTA. We have no jurisdiction over them. So when you go there, you have to comply with the rules of the practicum site. Dress appropriately. You cannot use hot pants or Bermudas or flip-flop or if you're a guy, you cannot wear like shorts and then sockless, no socks. It's quite odd. So you must wear socks and do not wear singlet and do not wear t-shirts that are open without any collar. You can use those with collar, polar neck. Don't wear slippers. Women, no mini skirt. Try to have it at least 2 inches above your knee. No shorts, no tank top, no spaghetti strap, and no distracting jewelry. Bring your SUT ID pass. Respect confidentiality of your client. Do not press staff for information. If the staff would not share anything with you, then it has to be like that. Sometimes they won't even share with you the case notes. You cannot audio or videotape the session. You cannot take photograph of your client because although your client might say you can take photograph, but their family members get angry or their children get angry. They don't want you to take photograph of their parents because they don't want anyone to know that they put their parents in a home, and they can get very angry. Can you also don't put your visit on your, what is the word called? When you put on the media space, what is it called? What is it called? Facebook. Don't put on your Facebook. What is the other one? A very popular, Joelle? Some of the students put it there. Huh? Yeah. Don't put that one also. Can get sued. Please don't put. The moment the site know that you do it, they will stop you prematurely. They don't let you go there anymore. The person that you will only contact will be your site supervisor or the nursing staff there. The site supervisor will brief you if ever you can go there on the rules of the site. The site supervisor is responsible for conducting the site and to assign you with clients. It's a site supervisor who will tell you, can you see back to Miss Chan Kwok Ling? She will be the one telling you. Always keep your site supervisor informed of your appointment. I will be coming next week on Monday at 2 p.m. And I will be seeing 2 of your residents, Bake 26 Tan Asi and Bake 92 Miss Warasami. Raise any concern about your client to your site supervisor and then go for supervision. Maintain a respectful and professional relationship with your site supervisor. The more you get along with your site supervisor, the better it will be. Any question so far? With the 15 years that I have gone on these sites, I'd like to share with you the common problems that they have. The first counseling issue is loneliness related to no visitors. Abandonment related to children left them there and has never visited them again except to pay for the monthly fee charged by the site. Low self-esteem or sense of loss of dignity because they feel very bad that they are an elderly man and they just wet their pants and they know you saw their pants all wet. Or when you came to see them on the wheelchair, they have just defecated and they know that you can smell it and they feel completely embarrassed about this moment with you. They can be very angry, resentful, very guilty, feel very hurt, feel very sad, disenchanted that the family sold away his HDB flat and put him in a home. There's always fear, fear that they'll be bullied, fear that the children will not show up again because they threw a tantrum when they came. Very anxious that will they visit them for Chinese New Year. Very worried that, that they don't have enough to eat. They worry a lot about everything. Sometimes they have a language limitation with you. These are the challenges for you. And sometimes you plan everything. You go there, your client is asleep, and the sister say to you, the nursing staff, oh, she just gone to sleep. Please don't wake her up. Last night she had insomnia, so you can't get to see. Client admitted to hospital. You make an appointment and they forgot to tell you that she's admitted for hyperglycemia, too much sugar in the blood. Client feel loss of purpose. These are the toughest to counsel, where it is so existential. They ask you, why can't they die? All people like to ask you this question. Why can't I die? And what right have you got to stop this death? Can you find for me a purpose in life today? If you can't, let me die. So you'll be confronted with existential and phenomenological question. Client unwilling to see you. They say they will see you on Monday, but the next Monday you go, they say they don't want to see you. Do you know that you have seen her and now she said that she doesn't know you? You mustn't get hurt. And the saddest one, hi, a bit more. Hi, the second one is you have seen this client for 4 months and for every other week. And when you arrive, you promise to bring a magazine for him. And when you arrive with the magazine, his bed is empty. And you didn't say goodbye. I suggest you go for supervision because you have unfinished business with this client. Can I talk about gifts? Can you check with your site supervisor whether you can give a present because today is her birthday? Because that gift is very important that you tell them so that if someone steals away the gift, at least the nursing staff is aware that she should have that little brooch. If you give brooch, remember there's a needle. To you, it's a brooch, but I'm thinking of the needle. So the kind of gifts you have must not create self-harm or harming others. So to buy a gift for them, you have to think very carefully. For example, I'm stuck, please. For example, you can buy them stress ball, that they can, for example, you want to buy them stress ball for them to practice, you could do that. But you have to let the nursing sister know. Can you don't give food or give drinks unless you clear with the site supervisor? Can I give you an example? Professor Tan Chui Ting actually brought one client to ECTA, and he was on the wheelchair, and then and then Dr. Tan actually went to the washroom, and on that day we were serving bun with otah. So Dr. Tan left the client inside the classroom, and then this man saw the intern, this girl eating bun with otah. And you know what he told her? I didn't eat for many weeks. Can I have one bun? So can I ask you, Jessica, do you think the intern will give? And he said that he's very hungry. And he said that he didn't take his dinner too because he had to come here. May I know, do you think the intern gave?
The intern probably gave because they did not know about the other food that he received.
Do you know what happened? Do you know he took the bun and he really ate it? He can finish it.
Wow.
But do you know it's going to harm him? He actually, he has got cancer. He has got cancer of the stomach, and there's a tube that's connected to his esophagus, and he can only eat how? He can only eat through a funnel, where you pour puree soup and you pour Milo into the funnel. So when you give him the bun, and do you know that within not even 2 minutes after he ate it, you guess what? He turned cyanotic, all blue, and he started to and he started to become, he can't breathe. He was choked by the bun. And do you know we had to actually, Dr. Tan had to do a lot to push up the bread again. So he didn't even finish the bun, he already choked. So we don't know what is underneath the pajamas. So please don't feed them anything. And some of them have very, very bad diabetes or very, very bad nephritis, means kidney problem, and they can't take salt. They always ask you to call their family, and they give you a number. And they will give you a number. Can you please don't call for them? Because the family can get very angry with you. Can you tell the nursing officer that they want to contact their member of their family? Can you don't do it for them? Can you don't contact? So for example, this man, he actually, he had a problem because on his way to marry his girlfriend, who is about to be his wife, he had a road traffic accident. And so he didn't show up at the wedding because he was in coma. And when he came out of hospital in his 20s, he was already staying in the home. And do you know where his life was stuck? He still has the handphone number of his about to be wife. And he kept on crying to ask the intern to call his girlfriend to say that why he did not show up at the wedding. Do you know he's still stuck there? So some of these things are very sad. So I need you to be very sensitive in contacting the family members. Now, some of them will ask you to run errands, especially on Saturday and Wednesday. Before Wednesday and Saturday, they will say that, can you buy for me this number? And they gave you $2, but they claim they give you $10. They are not bad people. It's just that they can't remember. And then there's a problem. And then the management has to come in. And then they ask you to buy 1448. And then when the number came up is 6448, they get very angry because they say you buy the wrong number. So in the first place, we are not allowed to buy ID number for them, whether it is the big suite or any number, please don't buy for them. Just let the nursing officer know. Can you, I know today is his birthday, can you don't bring him for a walk? You cannot bring them for a walk without the nursing staff permission, because some of them will just run away and they can't remember the name of the home. Please, can you don't bring them for a walk outside the area of the home? So I already told you, don't buy Toto. Can you don't buy cigarettes? Can you don't buy Tiger beer for them? Just don't buy for them. Any question? I know it seems cruel, but we have to look at the bigger picture. Any questions? Any question, please? Can you turn to the page? Any question about all these rules and regulations? Turn to this page now. Any question, please? Any question? Can I talk about boundaries? And I'm going to take a 10 minutes washroom break, and then we'll continue. When we come back, we'll talk about boundaries. All right, so we'll take a 10 minutes break and see you in 10 minutes. We're going to start again, and it's going to we're going to look at boundaries. I think I'm not looking at COVID-19, I'm looking at even in normal circumstances. I think it's very important, regardless of how old the person is, to actually do your best to refrain from physical contact, unless the situation is such whereby it will be most appropriate for you to put your hand on the shoulder of the client because it is a gesture of comfort. But besides that, I think that as a rule of thumb, try not to actually go into physical contact. Leave intimate caregiving duties to the site staff. So if there's anything that's quite intimate in your opinion, even though the person might be an elderly person, I suggest that you let the let the site people, actually the nurses or the people there to help them, like going to the toilet. Keep the relationship very professional. It's not that you're unhelpful. Try not to go inside the toilet with them. Can I talk about lewd gesture? Lewd gesture can be either they show their hands, or it can be from the body, or it can be from the face, or they say something inappropriate that makes you feel uncomfortable. According to the Chief Justice, by a rule of the thumb, as long as someone make a gesture or say something that you feel uncomfortable, you actually do not have to tolerate that. So it is very important that you highlight this to the site supervisor. And if the person persists in doing it again, then you might want to terminate the session. For example, sometimes while you're counseling them, they might suddenly just open up their pants, and they just go into indecent exposure. They go into public, they become a public exhibitionist, whereby they expose to you, and this is you don't have to actually accept any of that. You got to terminate the session. You must protect yourself, and the moment they do like such thing, whether inappropriate lewd language, foul language, or lewd gesture, or inappropriate behavior, please will you move away immediately. Quickly inform your site supervisor, inform Bala or Jen or myself, and go for supervision. Please raise the issue with your clinical supervisor immediately. Any question? In fact, this is what I'm saying now is legal, because this is something that is considered as sexual harassment. When you arrive at the site, please identify yourself, and each session I suggest to you should not go beyond 1.5 hours. Most people cannot take 1.5 hours. For the elderly, I find they can take only about 45 minutes or 1 hour. Be sensitive if your client is tired and they say to you, I'm very tired. It is so important to respect them, and you might have to end the session prematurely. Okay, can I talk about case notes? Arrange with your site supervisor to have a numerical code for your client. So if this is a first client you see, you might put that client 1. Even in the site, you can use a numerical code. Do not use the real name. So for the site, just write what is the counseling issue. You don't have to write the presenting issue. Write your intervention. No need to write the goal. Talk about the admin matters, follow up, and seek assigned clinical supervision, coaching on how to complete this form. Now, if you're still struggling with this form, especially of those of you who are still struggling with counseling goal, counseling intervention, it will be good for you to bring that item for your first supervision. Go for supervision and find out what is the difference between counseling goal and what is the difference, what do you mean by counseling intervention? Go for supervision. Remember, the notes are confidential, and sometimes you might need to submit this form to your site supervisor. Some of the site want you to do it after the case has ended, and some of them want to have it immediately. You have to check with them. In case COVID-19 is over and you have got all the practicum sites given to you, you might have to take annual leave so that you can see your cases, because some sites might not be open after office hours or during the weekends. Okay, can I talk about the self-source? Now, for those of you who are still interested in self-source site, this is what you have to do. Number one, can you give me a write-up of the site? For example, you want to go to a place, and it doesn't matter what business they are doing. Can you give me either from their website, or you do a printing out of the organization, and officially, how are they registered? In the ACRA example, and what service do they provide? Usually the standard procedure is, if the site would like you to do your practicum there, the usual things is that the site must be willing to sign a service agreement, and the service agreement is given by the Committee for Private Education for myself and the site to sign the service agreement. It is okay for the site to tweak the service agreement to any kind of words that they feel comfortable in signing the contract. From any ministry, any state board, any government agencies, or is from any of the MOE schools, as well as workplace, you do not need to sign a service agreement. All you need is an official email from your work site or from your organization, and that will be sufficient. Any question? These are for self-source site, in case some of you are interested.
Question.
Yes.
What if the organization is one of the SSO under NCSS?
What is SSO?
Example? The one that I have previously, I have only offered an official email, sort care.
Is it under which is the umbrella that they are under? Is it National Council of Social Service?
That's right.
They don't need.
Okay.
I just need an email.
All right.
So that is under the one of the ministries. You don't have to.
Yeah, so there are like 400 over charity organizations under that. So
you don't have to.
Okay,
you don't have to give. What must be in the email? The email from the practicum site or workplace. Some of you are choosing if you are from, example, you're from ITE, you might be using your workplace. When you're writing this email, you need not go to the CEO to write for you. Just your RO will do, your reporting officer. Your reporting officer will can write it and stating the following. Number one, the intern, they know that the intern is an enrolled student. The intern is conducting counseling at the workplace or the practicum site. Duration of the practicum attachment. So they say that they are aware you're doing your practicum from August the 15th to May the 10th. They must state the time that they know you are doing your practicum. And this is important to me because you are covered by professional indemnity. A time of counseling, is it after office hours or office hours? You also have to indicate if clinical supervisor has to be from the site. Like for example, in St. Liu, they want you to use their supervisor. Like the convent that I just mentioned to you that we just got, they want you to use their practicum, they want you to use their site supervisor. You must write there that we will be using our own site supervisor. Any question? Can you turn for me, Anu, here? Okay, next one. Your clinical supervisors are appointed by ECTA. I would appeal to you, if you really have got some issue with the supervisor whom I have appointed for you, can you please let either Jen or Bala know? For every 5 hours of counseling login, please go for 1 hour of individual supervision. The ratio is 5:1. So the ratio is 5:1. Supervision to be conducted only with ECTA's assigned clinical supervisor. Hi, it is okay for you to have many supervisors, but I, in ECTA and Swinburne, will only recognize supervisors that are assigned by me for you. Each supervisory session should not be more than 1.5 hours. 1 hour per session is recommended by me. Sessions should only be conducted in an indoor private space that facilitate confidentiality or via online video supervision. It should never be in an open space. Session must never be conducted in an outdoor public space, parks or benches or beaches or even McDonald's and so on. In an indoor public space, even though it's indoor, it cannot be a restaurant, it cannot be a cafe, or it cannot be inside the library. Any question? Any question? I want to talk about the responsibility of the clinical supervisor. The supervisors are appointed by us to guide you and to coach you so that you will practice safely and ethically and effectively. I don't know why I put the word alerting. It is also very important for the supervisor to alert you of any potential ethical risk or violation or any boundary risk that you might be facing. It is the supervisor's job. It's a supervisor's job for calibrating counseling interns' foundation counseling competencies. It's the job. Many of you asked me, not say many, some of you came and asked me, what is the role of a clinical supervisor when I don't have any counseling issue to present? Do not look at the role of a supervisor in a limited way. The supervisor can actually help to do this. What can you, I need to emphasize to you, supervision doesn't mean you bring your client issue for the supervisor to help. You can also use supervision to discuss theoretical framework for case management. You can do that. You can also raise issue connected to feeling stuck. So for example, I saw my client 5 times already. I have an appointment with her next week. I don't know what else to do. You're caught stuck. And if you encounter any challenges, your client refused to bring his mother in, and all his issues are connected to the mother, and you feel that this is very challenging, go for supervision. Go for supervision when there's also problem or issues connected to next of kin. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes the supervision issue could also be you somehow feel that the supervisor doesn't like you, or you feel that the supervisor does not respect you. So you can also use the supervision session to look at the ruptured relationship between the client and the counselor, or between the counselor and the supervisor. So two types of relationship. One, you can say that I think my client is getting quite fed up with the session she has with me. And she said that we are not making progress. And this has affected our relationship. So you can talk about client-counselor relationship, or you can talk about counselor and supervisor relationship. For example, I once told my supervisor, I don't know why when you supervise me, I'm scared that you will judge me harshly. I actually raised the issue. Do you know that I want to talk to you, you know, that when I am with you, I always like to tell you my strength, but I'm very afraid to tell you my weaknesses. And this is what I want to discuss with you. So some of us, when we go for supervision, we keep on talking how well we did. And we very seldom talk about how we felt we were incompetent. Actually, supervision is for that. Sometimes you can also talk to your supervisor that I can't motivate my client to change. My client contract with me was to stop smoking. But I cannot motivate him to achieve his goal because he does not see motivators in stopping his smoking habit. So you can talk about that. I also hope that in your first session, because your supervisors are actually working with you, please ask them, what are your expectations of me? I expect you to read a lot about CBT. So you can see these are her expectations. What will you have to prepare for each supervisory session? After the session, before you go, ask the supervisor, do you want me to do any homework? In the first interview, can you ask your supervisor, what is your preferred modality? I personally prefer to stay completely person-centered. I find myself not functioning well with very directive style of supervision. You can talk about expectation. Can you ask your supervisor whether they would like him or her to join in your Zoom session with your peer? Wow, if your supervisor can do that, that will be the best. It means that while you are counseling your peer, ask your supervisor to join in, provided your client agree. Instead of bringing real client, do you know the best way to learn is when your supervisor join in the Zoom and observe you. But again, if your client doesn't want it and your supervisor is not keen on it, then this is not their mode of supervision, and it is up to them. They have the right to choose any mode. Any question? Any question?
Jessica?
Yes.
Are you referring to the practicum, or you're talking about the peer counseling?
What do you mean? Can you say a bit more for me?
Because you say that the last point, would he or she need to go to the practicum site? This is nothing, this is practicum site, right?
So for example, so I've seen some supervisor who insist that my intern actually get permission for them to go with them to the site to watch them counseling.
So this has nothing to do with the peer-to-peer.
No, I said two things. I said that I'm making a suggestion as a clinical director that if I'm in your shoe, I would probably ask my peer whom I'm counseling, since I'm going to use TA in counseling, I will ask my supervisor, because now with Zooming, it becomes so handy. Your supervisor need not travel to the practicum site. They can actually watch you doing your counseling. It is a choice up to you to invite your supervisor to do it. It's really up to you. There's no preference and there is no compulsory or anything like that. It's not compulsory. It's just my suggestion.
I'm referring to the peer-to-peer as in intra counseling session.
So as I answered, I said that I suggest for you, optimum learning is when you're doing your peer-to-peer, you can invite your supervisor whom I've assigned to you to observe you over Zoom counseling your peer. I merely encourage you.
Okay.
You learn a lot. Because they will give you almost minute feedback and look at your micro scale. They also look at your theoretical framework and also your intervention. They know a lot about you. Okay? That is provided your client is agreeable. I strongly recommend to have one supervision session before your first counseling session. This is only a recommendation because you know why I recommend it? Because many of you have not done peer-to-peer. So because you are never trained peer-to-peer, I strongly suggest that you go for your first supervision so that you can get some guidance from them. I also, because I'm currently this week I was appointed as the chair of the Singapore Association for Counseling Supervision Board. So as a chair of the board, I noticed one thing, that there are not enough clinical supervisors in Singapore. So a lot of clinical supervisors are very overloaded with interns that they have to supervise. That is my observation. So I urge you, after today, go and ring. So I'm very proud of my, for the first time in my life, I accepted 2 GC to be my intern. I wonder what is it like to supervise GC. I've never done it in my life. I have supervised masters, but I've never, usually every cohort, I only supervise one person, only one. But this time I told myself, I would like to now learn what is it like to supervise someone from GC. And I was quite proud of my GC intern. She wrote to me this morning and she or he said that, when would be a good time for me to see you, because I know you're going to be very busy. Now, because she booked me or he booked me so early, she and I could arrange for our first appointment. I hope you will do that and get your appointment fixed. And once your first appointment is fixed, when you go for your first appointment, can you book 2 more appointments with them? So that you have got 2 sessions that are very, very confirmed and you are not left without a slot with your supervisor. That's my suggestion. And when you go for supervision, planning is very important. Get your case notes ready, and please also get your questions ready for your clinical supervisor, because you only have 1 hour. For those of you who are working under a confidential coverage and you do not want the supervisor to know where you're from, can you just say, I am in an educational setting? You don't have to tell them that I'm from Nanyang Primary School. You don't have to tell them. You just have to tell them that my clientele are primary school students. And you don't have to tell them so much about if you feel that you don't want your site supervisor, or sorry, not your site, your assigned supervisor to know the clientele where they are from, you don't have to share with them. So I emphasize to you again, take upon yourself to book first appointment followed by 2 more appointments after the first appointment. So I've already mentioned that. Hi, if some supervisors I noticed, there's one of them, if you cancel your supervision less than 12 hours, they count it as 1 hour. Some, please ask them about their cancellation policy. I can't stop them. So you ask them, if I cancel last minute and there is a legitimate reason, will I be penalized? So please work it with them. We have no control over external supervisor. Be careful, they can charge you personally for the session and you have to bear the cost if they want to charge you. ECTA will pay only 6 hours. And she can't write, I need to let you know, the supervisor can only write a report after 5 hours. They cannot write a report less than 5 hours. So it is I need to inform you officially, upon completion of your 25 hours, you don't have to wait until 30 for those who are progressing to your master's degree. On your 25th hour, can you inform your supervisor, within these 5 hours, is there any chance that with the hours that I've left with you, I've finished 25, may I book for an hour to get my report written up? Because I suspect some of you might only be able to get 25 hours. So please ask them to write your supervisor's report if you have already got 25 hours. You don't have to wait till 30. Usually you will use the last 5th hour and you will inform them, I've left with 1 hour. Can I use the last hour to complete my supervisor's report? I would prefer the report to be done under open book. All feedback should be open. They should let you read your report and you should be able to raise questions with the supervisor. And if you can't see your supervisor face to face, I'm okay for you to Zoom with your supervisor. Please, will you go back and read the supervisor's report on the area that your supervisor will be appraising you? Will you also read the supervisor's feedback on how you would appraise your supervisor? And the form is here. Go back and read this form on the areas that your supervisor will be appraising you. So this is the form. Now, how do you lock in your hours? I repeat again, please do not put 9:30 to 10:31. Don't do that. Please round off. 10:30, 10:35. Do not put 31, 32, 33, 34. Bala and Jen will suffer from a lot of fatigue if you do that. Any question? Any question?
Yes. I thought we were supposed to do 24 hours instead of 12 hours.
What do you mean?
The time in and time out has to be in the 24-hour time. Like 9:30 is not meant to be the other 24-hour.
Oh, okay. You can do it both ways. You can put it as 09:30 hours, or you put that 10:30 hours. I'm okay with both.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm okay with both.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever is convenient for you. I accept both.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Jessica, can we use back the same resident?
Say more, please. What you mean by resident?
Can
you
we,
mean the venue?
Can we use the same old folks home and as well as the same resident as in under the GC?
Yeah, if they are open, can you let Bala know? If they are open.
As in the home or the resident?
Where were you when you were in GC?
Swami.
Yeah, you can ask Bala if he can help you to go back to Swami if they are open.
And also the
Bala, is it possible?
I will have to look into this. The same resident might not be possible because the site supervisor is in charge of allocating residents, not ECTA. Yeah.
Oh, the Swami home choose their own intern.
Yes.
They choose themselves. We cannot choose.
We don't control.
ECTA has no locus of control over Swami selecting you. We can only recommend they do the final choice.
Because I think the resident responded saying that prefer the same counselor.
That's why the site supervisor must collect feedback from their resident. You are right. But again, the final decision, is it up to the reverend? Who is in charge?
It is Reverend Wong. He's in charge.
Reverend
he will
Wong,
decide.
pick his own intern.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do not write your client's name. I like to emphasize. So round it off, please. Okay, can I talk about individual supervision? It's the same thing. You have to write the case supervisory issue. Record only clinical supervisions. Hi, if you got more supervision hours than what I assigned for you, please do not write here. When I sign on it, I only need to see 6 hours from your assigned supervisor. Please. Please read your practicum handbook. It's important. I really hope that if this were practicum site, I would have asked you to go there after 8 weeks. For those of you who have finished your TA and your SFBT, I really hope that Jan, Jan, can I have a comment from you, Jan? When do you think that you can begin to release the matching?
Okay, I can start releasing the matching from next Monday. However, before I can release that, I would need the
don't
PDP.
choose Monday. Monday ECTA is closed. Post-graduation. Shall we make it Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday is fine. But I would need the PDPA forms because I think it's important to get their approval first.
Sure, yeah. Please, SAC will not allow you to, towards the end of you about to finish your course, you leave the 4 hours to the last 2 weeks. Because when SAC audit your thing, they hope to see 10 hours to 1 hour of supervision. This is the minimum they hope. So please do not leave it to last minute. It looks very clumsy for you when you're applying for SAC registered counselor, because they do look at your logbook today. So after first modality, grad deep 32 commencement date 8 September, completion of solution focus 5th of October. Wow, it means that they got, you mean Cecilia class don't finish till, Jen, can you comment on this? When do they start their SFBT? Is this done by both of you, Bala and Jen?
Yes, yes.
So will you explain why 5th of October?
Because SFBT has 4 classes and they only start mid-September for their first modality,
They
which is
finish 5th
SFBT.
October.
Yeah.
No, they don't need to. Each one learn one modality can practice.
Yeah. GD33 starts with SFBT.
Sorry.
While
No, my GD 32 is on standby. They are ready to practice. I'm looking at your GD 33. When are they finished with one modality?
It's the 5th October.
Is it correct? So late?
Yeah, it's
confirmed 5th of October, Jessica.
Oh, so you mean they can't start then? Do you think you can start after 2 sessions? At least you got 2 sessions to start. Can you start to, like you've learned miracle question already? Have you learned, Jessica?
I think they can start on their 3rd session, which is the 28th September.
So my GD 32 can start first and they start later.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you heard the starting date? Any question?
Dr. Leong, we have a question via chat. The students who are self-sourcing, they are asking whether do they have to also wait for the first modality before they can start practicum at their self-source sites.
Can I put this way for you? Whatever practicum site you are doing, okay, to answer you part 1, actually they can start anytime, but I would be very concerned as a clinical director because the purpose of the practicum site is for you to calibrate your skill and integrate it with the theoretical knowledge. So it means that you can go and get your hours, but it's based on your GC. You have not yet entered the GD program. That would be my concern. So if I'm your clinical supervisor, I would then ask you to conceptualize your case. And I think you would have problem conceptualizing your case when you have not covered even one modality completion. It'll be very difficult. That is from me talking as a supervisor. But for me, technically, you can start your practicum site because it's yours. But the practicum site and our experience, they do exist. It's for the intern to integrate theoretical framework into the real world and to go into practice. That will be my concern. This is a clinical response, not an administrative response. Any question? So what do we recognize? So we recognize face-to-face counseling. We recognize video and Zooming. We also recognize phone call counseling. WhatsApp counseling is not included as suitable mode of counseling for ECTA now because we have cases where the intern left their phone in a taxi or in a restaurant, and the intimate conversation between themselves and the client, you can actually look at the WhatsApp message or the SMS. And I think we are compromising our client. So this mode of counseling is not recognized by ECTA at this moment. Remember, SAC has the right not to register you if they see you doing a whole bunch of counseling without supervision and they see as unethical practice. Your eligibility to graduate may be affected if you do not complete your practicum component by the submission date that was assigned to you. Can I give you a feel? You may forward 5 non-completed hours to complete at your master's level. So everyone who's progressing to master's, you can just complete 25, get your supervisor's report, use up your 6 hours, and then forward the 5 hours to your master's level. Remember, the supervisor can write your report after 25 hours. Now, what about those of you who are very lucky? After your 30 hours, you have extra hours. You may bring 10 hours to your master's level if you wish to do so, because your site has many cases, but you cannot even go up to 41. It is considered as unethical because after your 10 hours, you have to stop and wait until you go to your master's, go for your supervision, then you start to clock in your subsequent hours. This will allow you to apply the assessed 10 hours maximum towards your master level completion criteria. So you only bring forward 10 maximum. It's a non-negotiable item. May I talk about exit? Some of you are leaving. So what do? You must complete all 30 hours. Otherwise, you will not be awarded the graduate diploma. You will not be awarded. You must complete your 6 hours. Supervisor must write your supervisor's report as competent, and then you will graduate with that unit. These are for exit students. There's nothing to bring forward, and there's nothing, you can't stop at 25 because the graduating criterion for you, if you're not moving forward, is 30. For group supervision, don't forget to prepare your one-page case study note and bring it for your group supervision, like what you did at Grad Cert. Okay, I'm finished now exactly at 9 o'clock, but I have an announcement to make. I understand that you received this in the post. Did you receive? Did you all receive this? That I believe you received your testament, and you also received your academic transcript, and you also received that. And one of the students has so accurately pointed out, they say that part-time GC course should be 12 months. Now, this is in the Australian context. Because they are part-time, have fewer lessons. Our part-time have lessons that's almost every week. We are more intense in the 6 months. So there is a typing error there. And I suppose that they use the ones that they have in Australia, and they forgot to customize for Singapore. They forgot to customize because all of them are working from home. So the computer, because it's due date, they just churn out this letter, this standard letter, and I noticed that there is definitely a fault there. So can you just ignore it? Nias has already written to Swinburne, and I hope that they will rectify that, just to let you know so that you don't worry about it. I want you to know that I'm aware of it. So I'm done. Any question and answer? I've completed my practicum orientation, and I'm very happy to accept more questions before we say good night.
Jessica, I have 2 questions.
Sure.
The first one is, I understand the last time you mentioned about that we can video, also called recording the supervision with our CS, and by asking permission from the CS.
What is CS?
Clinical supervision.
Yeah, you can. You can actually ask your clinical supervisor, may I have permission to tape the session? And your supervisor say, certainly, then you can tape it. If she say no, you can't tape it.
So if let's say permission granted is all the sessions?
You ask her, is it for all the session or for one? You have to ask her.
Okay, second question.
Some of them might give you permission, and after that, halfway, they might change their mind and you have to delete it.
Okay, second
because
question.
It has to be with consent. Do you know the supervisor can allow you, and suddenly because of something both of you say, and then certain thing happen in a session, and the supervisor can say, can you stop taping, and can you erase everything? Because you're taping them, they have the right to decide. Similarly, the supervisee can say, I do not wish to tape anymore, and I like to erase it. It's up to you.
Okay, second question will be, you mentioned about the maximum hours will be 40 hours, and in such case, do we increase the supervision from 6 hours to 7 hours?
No, you don't. So if you got 40 hours, the law is 10:1, SAC law and regulation. So you have got 40 hours, you can still cover, the 6 hours still cover more than what is required by SAC. So if you know you're going to have 40 hours, you got to manage your number to 6. You can, because even if you go and pay on your own the 7, I won't recognize it.
Okay, sorry, the last question will be, you know, the case notes for the peer-to-peer. Just now, I think one student asked about, do we have to submit every session that we see the peer-to-peer, do we submit one case report?
No, when everything is over with the client and you have finished with it and you close up the case, you can return the case notes then. You don't do it session by. Anyway, you only got one form. You fill up all, and the rest are called session 1, session 2, session 3.
So the case report for the peer-to-peer is only one summary of all the 4 or 5 sessions?
Yes, but if you, so you might have 3 reports because you have 10 hours. One might have only 1 session, another one got 4, another one got 3. The moment you start with a new person, you are given only 2, right? Jen, am I correct? Jen, each person given 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would assume that one might have 7, the other one might have 3, or one might have 4, one might have 6. You should have 2 case reports.
So case summary. Report. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Any other question? And I hope everything is clear now, because I noticed that most of your questions are about practicum during the lockdown and during this period. So that's why I personally want to be here this evening to actually answer all your questions.
Hi, Doctor. Sorry. Hi, Dr. Leong.
Yes.
Hi, this is Tian here. I'm not sure whether I missed something. So for the peer-to-peer, we are only given 2 so-called clients, and that is for 10 hours. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the other 20 hours?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
I really have to, because the reason why I'm so reluctant to answer what's going to happen, a lot depends on the global situation. Really, assuming I wait about 2 months, let's say by November, and I notice that it's not improving the world situation, I, Jessica, and Swinburne, and my board of directors would have to co-create another solution. For now, I think I'm only okay until November. I really can't answer you. I don't know.
Okay, sure, yeah.
But what I can assure you, that whatever I do will be ethical, whatever I ask you all to do, and you will be endorsed and supported by Swinburne University and the Singapore Association for Counselling. There will be no mode of counselling that I would recommend that would make you not eligible for recognition of your degree. I will never do that. So that is what I will assure you. So the answer is I don't know what is happening, but I intend to look at, I've got something in my mind. My next thing is that I will try, what I'm thinking of is to work with other schools to means you counsel other schools. Like example, James Cook would like to pay them a visit. Can your student counsel my student, and can my student counsel your student? That's what I can do. And also I'm working with Swinburne. You know, Swinburne got the same course like you. Can you over Skype counsel their psychology student, and the psychology student counsel your student. I'm working with Glenn Bates on that. We are on standby mode, and we don't know whether we'll succeed or not. Really, my answer is I have no confidence with that answer. No confidence.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Leong.
Thank you.
Jessica Leong, Joanne here.
Yes.
My last question will be, is it possible if Bala or Jen give us another final email to let us know the detail, as in like the outcome of this session, as in like as in when the session is going to start, and then is it which with GC or GD 32 or 33, because I didn't really get the whole information, so to speak. So it'd be nice if at the end of today's session, Bala could send us an email.
Bala, do you know what is required of you?
Yes,
So what
Dr.
you
Leong.
do, Bala, can you take my PowerPoint slide and choose those that are relevant and then
Sure.
give it to the class?
Sure.
Because quite a number of them are done by me. Some are done by Joelle, but some are done by, I think the ones is about dates are all done by me. I think you can share with them. I have no problem with it. So why don't we choose those,
Sure.
know where the dates are, and then what we recognize, a couple of slides we can show them, rather than you spend, so I know it's your peak period, and Saturday is our big graduation.
Yep.
I think all the staff are working until 10 o'clock almost every night. So maybe, Joanne, can we owe you first until Tuesday? Because tomorrow we are very busy. Saturday is our graduation. All right?
Thank you.
Okay. We'll probably give you latest on Wednesday for the whole class. Latest Wednesday. Ken? Wednesday we give you? Ken? Good. Anything else?
Yes, the question is, what if the client that we are paired up with decides to terminate even before everything is to be done?
I never thought of that. You mean your, let's say you're in GD 33, the 32 after 2 sessions doesn't want anymore?
Yeah, because like maybe they don't click with their counselor. Oh dear.
Yeah, you see, now I'm worried already.
Sorry.
Anyone going, can we think together to answer this question? What would be the best thing to do if this happened? Because I was really hoping that it's just like a class role play. You practice for 5 hours. I'm just hoping for that you practice your SFBT, you practice your TA, you practice your CBT. Like you have got 2 hours for TA, because I'm biased, I'll choose mine 2 hours. SFBT, I don't quite like, you take 1 hour, and then 2 hours CBT, that will make 5 hours. I came from that. And then family therapy is harder to practice because it's one-to-one. So I'm
Dr.
just
Leong.
hoping for that. Huh?
Dr. Leong, sorry to cut you. There are some of them in the chat group, they are asking if they don't have questions, can they leave because it's way past the time they are saying?
Yeah,
they can leave, huh?
Yes,
okay,
please do.
thank
I
you.
won't be upset. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
So I don't have, can you give me some time to think? And if anyone in the class has got some great ideas, I like to borrow them and would like to learn from you. I haven't got an answer yet. All right?
Okay.
Thank you. So no more questions?
Jessica?
Yes?
You give us a slide, said Dr. Leong, as in Bala?
Wednesday.
Oh yeah, okay, thank you.
I will, Joanne.
Okay, everybody, good night. Sleep well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.